All right, now that we finished the winners and losers of free agency, we're going to be moving on to the NFL draft player rankings a couple weeks before the draft actually takes place. And in this video, we're going to be going over the quarterbacks, the top 5 that we each think.
And also own rankings. Most of them are different. Most of them are the same. But you will see with his, there's a lot different with his. But each week, because the draft is in a week, so we're going to do this. This is just all the important positions on the offense. And next week we're gonna do offensive line, the end, and corner and all that. So we're gonna do basically.
We're just gonna do the main highlights.
Exactly.
You wouldn't say this draft that the safeties and the tight ends are a highlight, so we're not gonna be doing them. So
we'll still be going over offensive linemen, defensive line.
We're gonna be doing linemen, D linemen,
and corners,
linebackers, and corners are pretty much what we got.
Yeah.
All right, so. Going right on into it, we will go with the quarterbacks for this video.
Alright, so should I go first?
You can go first, since yours is different. Me and Nick have the same ones.
Alright, so here's my quarterback rankings. First overall, and this is always really debatable between
Definitely
two.
tough.
I say Jared Goff. The reason I say that is I think that Jared Goff and Carson Wentz are going to be equally as good in the NFL, because I think they both have. I think Jared Goff is a good pocket passer. Carson Wentz is a good mobile quarterback. He also has the physical traits. But Carson Wentz, the only reason I'm saying that he's number 2, but he's still going to be good, is that he played Division 1A, or he wasn't even playing
Double A, you mean?
Yeah, Double A. He wasn't playing Division 1 opponents, and that's gonna translate when you're playing guys that are going to be playing football at the next level, or because there's still players that are going to the NFL in the guy that Jared Goff was playing is in the Pac-12. So Jared Goff played better opponents, and he still produced amazing numbers. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think that he's number 1. Number 2 is Carson Wentz. Number 3 is Paxton Lynch from Memphis. I think he's a very good quarterback, probably maybe first round. Connor Cook is my 4th. I think that Connor Cook is an amazing quarterback. Very smart with the football. He'll win you games. That's all. He won't produce the eye-popping stats. He'll win you games, and that's what he did with Michigan State. So I think that he's number 4. And Christian Hackenberg is
interesting.
Yeah, he's a very interesting prospect. He was supposed to be one of a first round pick before the season started. He got
hurt.
He
lost his his coach.
Yeah,
and then
crazy.
Bill O'Brien, who's now a Texan.
He has the potential. Him and Cardale Jones have the potential to be good. They also have the potential to be bad. That's with everybody, but they are especially those 2 guys. So I think that he's going to produce in the NFL. I really think that he's going to do good. So I think that's why he's my number 5. So number 1, Jared Goff. Number 2, Carson Wentz. Number 3, Paxton Lynch. Number 4, Connor Cook. And number 5, Christian Hackenberg.
All right, now me and Nick have the same
exact
list. You want to go over why you think?
Yeah, and then you could just basically chime in whatever I leave out. So the only difference between the 3 of us is me and Jared have Carson Wentz and Jared Goff flipped, as AJ has Jared Goff.
Now, that's just like AJ said before. Definitely up
very
for debate.
debatable. You're not going to be able to prove it until... Nobody can prove anything until both these players come out of the draft and get on their teams.
Very close players.
But I personally pick Carson Wentz. As you say, it's a fair point that he didn't play, but he's smart, number 1. He could during the combine, he was putting the ball wherever he needed to, on the dime, and he's physical. Very, very physical player, similar to a lot of people say Cam Newton. I've heard a lot of things comparing him to Andrew Luck, comparing him to Blake Bortles. Those are great names to be compared to.
Exactly.
And he's a phenomenal quarterback, and he got the job done with not as good of receivers as Jared Goff had. So it goes both ways. He didn't have as good as receivers, but he also didn't verse as good of defenses. And Jared Goff had better receivers, but versus better defenses. So I feel like it kind of washes it out. However, I get it is a very fair point to say that it's an NFL defense is completely different, but that goes for anybody. So it all depends. Tom Brady came from I don't even know what's
Michigan. He's a backup quarterback.
Yeah, from Michigan, and they weren't at the time. Yeah, they weren't. He wasn't really doing much there either. So I think that it just depends on what you do when you get there, and that goes for any quarterback coming out of anywhere.
I want to say Carson Wentz over Jared Goff, like Nick said. But I'm going to say, because not the things that you don't know, but the things you do know. He's bigger, stronger, faster. He's bigger than Jared Goff. He has NFL size. He's got a stronger arm than Jared Goff. And that's not to say Jared Goff's not going to be as good. I mean, like I said, it's a toss-up. But I think those are NFL traits you need to succeed. That's why I put him first. I think he's smarter with the football. He only threw, I think, four
interceptions.
Four
I think so.
interceptions, yeah.
That might have been Paxton Lynch. I don't know.
No, it was 4. I promise.
All right. Either way, he's very smart with the football. Very good at running. I think he projects to be definitely not as good as Cam Newton. I mean, he could be, but the player I see him resemble the most is Cam Newton. He had, I think, 600 rushing yards last year. And
Who did? You said
Wentz.
Wentz? Oh, yes.
Which is crazy for a quarterback in college. And, I just feel like he's going to be a better player than Jared Goff. That's not to say... I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's just a toss-up. It's really tough.
I could tell you the stats if you want. I could tell you the stats. When he was a starter for Bison in 2014, Wentz threw for 3,111 yards and 25 touchdowns, leading the team to 4 consecutive FCS championships.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he came back from a broken right wrist, sidelined for 2 months, to lead ND North Dakota State to his 5th straight title game victory. So he's a winning quarterback, which is also, he's got that winning mentality. He's very competitive. He only started 7 games in his senior year, completing 62.5% of his passes.
Because he was hurt.
Yeah, for 1,651 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, while also running for 6 scores. And one thing that he was praised for was his intelligence and his work ethic.
And I think you see that in the pre-draft workouts, he's really smart, and like I said, it's just the physical things that you know about him rather than the stuff that you don't know about him, like how he's going to react to an NFL defense that makes him a better prospect than Jared Goff.
So yeah, we were all basically the same, and since we have time, I just want to name the guys that didn't really make the cut that we didn't think were in the top 5. Those 2 or 3 guys are basically Cardale Jones, who is
Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
Dak
who could be boom or bust with him.
Definitely.
Hopefully boom, because he's physically gifted. Dak Prescott, like Nick said.
I honestly, now that I think about it, I might have him tied for 5th.
I don't know. I don't like.
I like him a lot.
I don't know about Dak Prescott. He's very small. He's small as a Jared Goff.
He reminds me of. Hold on, I'm gonna look this guy up. I don't know if I remember his name.
And then the other guy, when Jared's looking it up, is Kevin Hogan, who's really good for the Stanford
I like
Cardinal.
him.
He's also good.
No, but the guy I was thinking, what was his name? Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I compare him to Nick Marshall from Auburn.
He
was a guy,
but he came
turned
into the draft as a wide receiver.
A corner.
Sorry.
Either way, I feel like he's one of those guys. He's more of a runner than a thrower. He's not a quarterback that can run. He's more of a running back that can throw.
Yeah, exactly.
He
put up the numbers for Mississippi State, but again, if you want to talk about physical traits, he's only 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
That's small for a quarterback, especially when you have
it could definitely get it
guys.
done. I mean, prime example is Russell Wilson.
And
it could definitely get done. You could be elite, even depending on your height. It's just obviously going to be much harder for you. One thing I want to say: 2 boom or bust quarterbacks, Christian Hackenberg and Cardale Jones. Either one of those 2 quarterbacks can shoot right up to be one of the top 3 quarterbacks, like out of this draft class, over time. I feel like, because odds are one of these guys in the top 3 could potentially be a bust. That is, it happens in many, 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 many drafts.
Definitely.
It's almost like a guaranteed, at least out of the, let's say there's 10 quarterbacks, at least 4 are going to be complete busts. But maybe even higher. So either one of those guys get to the right team, get the right coach, can be very, very good.
So I think what's really interesting is that how people don't know about Cardale Jones and Christian Hackenberg. They can't project him. Mike Mayock, John Gruden said that he'd be shocked if Christian Hackenberg didn't go 1st round because he's that good of a quarterback. But mock drafts have him going 3rd or 4th. Yeah. Cardale Jones, Mike Mayock said that he has the potential to be the best quarterback in the draft. They have him going 4th and 5th or 3rd and 4th. You can't project. It's hard to project because you can't see him playing in front of NFL players. Mm-hmm. But it's just insane how these 2 quarterbacks, no one can project them. They're just the biggest boom or bust quarterbacks I've seen in a while.
And that's a big thing about drafts. A lot of guys are boom or bust. You can't really project how they'll react to an NFL.
It's all speculation. Nobody knows for sure. Everything's speculation, and nobody knows really when they're going to get drafted. Only the teams that make that draft them obviously are in control of that. So It's all up in the air, but
It's all about
our,
the system and the team.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's our top 5 player rankings, and next we're going to have our running backs.
Yep.